Melissa?
Yes.
And
I didn't hear from Melissa. I'm assuming she's coming, but I didn't get an email from her.
she
She's not
sent an
coming.
email earlier.
She did? I didn't remember seeing her email.
I didn't see it if it was to,
Maybe it was just to you.
yeah.
I don't think so. Let me check.
Gosh.
Melissa Sullivan?
Yeah.
Oh, it was just to me.
Oh.
Do you want
Good to
me
know.
to read what she said?
Sure.
Hey, I'm sorry that I had previous commitment and cannot make it tonight. Please take minutes. Michelle, I did some grant research and came up empty-handed. Eagle Scouts was an inland grant project as opposed to shoreland. Grant apps are closed for 2025.
Right.
We may need to match grants with our own fundraising. So great work. Our plans and goals are becoming clearer and this will definitely help. Since I do not actually live local, it would be difficult to organize fundraisers, more likely to be a participant, I'm paraphrasing. I believe the grant subcommittee would be better for me. I believe I'm probably recreating the wheel. Is Liz the person I should be connecting with? Has somebody already done what I'm doing? While I look for potential grant opportunities, I came across a US funding application. Sounds like for a monthly membership cost, the company group would line you up with appropriate federal, state, and local grants. I love your collective thoughts. Good luck tonight. P.S. I'm still not a fan of the Y financial layout. Contract is renewed next month. Perhaps a one-year contract would work until we can figure out better town finances.
No
Okay.
BS?
So the one thing I had
This
actually,
isn't hugs.
so I'll have to find out from her. I know she, the project canopy was the only one I needed to like get info on, so that doesn't sound like she looked at project canopy. So we'll go back to that later, but. All right, let's,
I'll send it to you.
welcome to the Bunganut meeting on September 17th, 2024. We'll do roll call left to right.
Kevin there.
Colin Hart, Karen Kane.
Michelle Belisani, Polly Woldridge,
Liz Mitchell.
and sitting way in the back.
Dave Alves.
No heckling.
Notes for one thing. All right, so I'll just start off the bat with the fundraiser at the library. It was actually their yard sale was a lot smaller than they had the year before. I think they had 40 tables the year before, and there was only 19 this year. Is my understanding. It was just, I think, timing, and it was a kind of, I think, more last minute organization than the time before. And so, but even with the little, the smaller participation that we had, they had a nice little turnout. And I think the most exciting thing is like the people that stopped by the table. I was there with Lindsay, the town manager, and Peg, who were there for comprehensive plan and for the town and just having manuals and signups for volunteering. It was really cool, the people that stopped by that didn't even want to do the 50-50, they just wanted to donate money to the Bunganut bucket. And we're so excited to hear it's being revitalized and are so excited about trails and about anything happening. And they're like, oh my gosh, we didn't know this was going on. There's a couple people that want to get on the committee. They're like, oh, this is so great. It's always, it's getting a little run down. It was really, really positive feedback. Every single person that stopped by the table was just like, oh my gosh, I didn't know there was a committee. Oh my gosh, the park, are they thinking of doing this and thinking of doing that? So it was just really nice to get that feedback of the conversations with members of the community. I thought it was really good. It was literally the first jumping off point we've had of the public, I guess, saying anything or thinking anything. So we raised $297, yes. And that was just with the sticker sales and stuff I had, the raffle of the cooler and a donations bucket and the 50-50. And so that was the library fundraiser. So not bad to start off with.
Yeah.
So I will get that money, still have to take care of it. I'll get that into the account for Bunganut. And that will be on our list. Any questions, anything? Okay.
Did you say you had an extra agenda?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sharing is caring. All right. Holly, do you want to kind of talk about WCF and where we are there?
Yeah, so there's not a ton
that I can do, like checklisty wise, until I know what our first goal is, first project is. The starting application steps are pretty specific to your project, providing maps and so forth. We've already given him a map of the park, but I need to get specific with the actual project we're gonna tackle. But I printed out, he suggested that we review, application help material. So I printed out the federal financial assistance manual, like the whole manual, the grant application guidance, document, and then the fiscal procedures manual. And so I started highlighting that, but again, there's not a lot I can really dig into.
So that's probably gonna be once we have Acorn's report, and then we
Yep.
can say, okay, this is what we're doing, and that's when we can maybe go up, get some bid RFPs going
Exactly.
towards, and then we'll know, so we still have time before the deadline in June of 2025.
Yes, an Acorns report due on the 13th.
Yes, they were in contact with me, that was on here for me to address what happened, which is next one. So both of them, when their kids went back to school, they all got the flu, including their entire family, so they were both out for a week. So they asked for like an extension, I said, of course, they're sick as a dog. So Alex's and Audrey's families both had flus, and they were both out with the flu for a week. So it should be ready the 20th, is what they told me, so I should have that soon.
I think Dave had a question.
Yes.
I wasn't able to follow, but now I realize you were talking about Acorn.
No,
No, I was talking about the Land and Water Conservation Fund,
Ah.
the grant. We met, Michelle and I met virtually with Matt Henyon. He's the grant coordinator. And he reviewed our, let me say that, eligibility.
Mhm.
And he gave us the okay, yep, we're eligible.
he came and did toward the park himself.
He did, he toured the park himself. And they were able to iron out the deed questions that they had. I mean, they were unclear about the deed for the town and so forth, so he cleared that up, gave us the go-ahead, and suggested, like I said, that we review this material going forward, just to make sure that we understand the long-term process and then the commitments.
And this is a grant
Going
process
forward.
that they do 50% match.
Mhm.
Project has to be paid for in advance by the town. And when we submit our applications, the project has to be shovel ready, which means all permits have to be done. You basically have to be ready to stick the shovel in the ground before you can apply. But let's say so far with the steps that Holly and I did with him are we on step 3 now? There's like 5 or 6 steps.
It's super
But like the report he sent us, which is in our emails, which was good and sad, the park came back in poor condition, which was also part of what you need to be able to move forward to get these monies. So that's who Holly and I have been working with, but that also we know from speaking to him, it's probably a 2-year process to get this money.
Is there a cap on the money?
There is, off the top of my head, I can't remember what it
Neither
is.
do I.
I mean, I have it in here somewhere, I can look it up for you off the top of my head.
That's okay.
Yeah, so it's in here somewhere, but that's where, one of the things we're looking at, because, and their funds also cover parking lots, sidewalks, restrooms, not just like trails. It
Playgrounds
covers
also.
Playgrounds, it'll cover things at a sports field, it's quite a lot under the canopy that it covers. This is the one that I was telling you about, that with a third party managing the park can cause a concern for them. That was one of their concerns, because if it is a public park, it has to be open to the public 24, it has to be open to them. We can't restrict areas from the public.
24/7?
I don't know, I mean, probably not 24/7, but we can't say, oh, you can't go over here, ever. We can't do that type of thing, it has to be public access. We can't have gates everywhere and keep people out. I'm sure you can set hours and gate things, but you can't.
But like the Y building, for example, was a concern, where that's currently being restricted for Y access, Y use, YMCA use.
So how, if you accept the money, how would you do the Pines as the way you're doing the business now, or the way the Y is doing the business?
They, it probably have to be a little more changed, I suppose. I mean, they can still rent it out, but it can't be like you can't go over there. You know what I mean? Like if you had a wedding in a park in a city, they can say, you can have it here and we can say it's a private event, but people can walk through your event. It's a public venue. That's anywhere, I think. So that would be most people are courteous enough not to come and crash your party.
I'll ask
Just
Matt.
saying.
I can ask Matt that question.
Yeah.
I don't think we had talked about that.
Yeah.
I don't think we had talked about the fact that we rent the Pines out for events.
Right, but they're small, and so I don't think that would be,
With that said, the idea of having potential campsites, is that a potential issue?
no, because it's no different like Sebago Park
I don't think
and
the community
Castle
has
Park.
talked about campsites yet.
No, we haven't talked about, Rusty brought that up. And Rusty's not here tonight. No, because it's still public access. It would just like, because you have like Sebago Park and you have Castle Park and you have all the other parks, state, town parks. They all can get funding like this too as well. It's just not, you're not saying, the public can't have access. They can still go there. And again, I think even when you're at a campground, you hope someone doesn't come traipsing into your campsite, just respectfully, hey, unless they're hungry, I suppose.
I think you can still rent it
Yes.
out, even if, I don't think you'd have an issue with being able to rent it out.
Yeah, because I know state parks are the same thing, you can have a
You
party
can
there.
rent them out, yeah.
But again, they say, we can reserve a spot for you, but they can't bar the public point blank from your slot. You can courteously ask them, this is our party, can you move along? But that's that way anywhere. To my knowledge anyways, from what I've experienced. So that's where Holly and I were there. So until we have like a project, which kind of like what Acorn is working on is kind of, I think, our first goal is my understanding from the board, if my memory serves. Once we can do RFPs, we can nail down applying for a grant for that. And see where it goes. And then that's where we'll hopefully, when it gets to the grant writing part, we're hoping Joe Wagner, who graciously has agreed to help us, we can reel him in to do some writing and help us understand the language and the grant process procedure. And Matt Hennon has also said any questions, we can get on a Zoom or call.
500,000 was the max. And they do suggest minimum 20. No minimum award level, but applicants considering a request of $20,000 or less should discuss their project concepts with the grant manager before applying, which we did up front. We told them, this is what we have got right now, and I don't even know what it will be next year. I have no idea, but he still encouraged us to go forward.
Because you can apply, there's lots of places, but getting one is good for us potentially because we've ever, didn't they first have one? Was that what we found out?
What's that?
The town did get one at one point.
No, Lyman, I don't think that Lyman's ever received a
Oh, it's
land
the
and
state
water
of Maine.
conservation fund. I'm sorry, that's not true. The land, Bunganut Pond, that property was acquired with a land and water conservation fund. I believe the state owned it.
Yep.
Matt knew all the history of it.
And the only caveat to any monies you receive from the conservation fund is you have to maintain stewardship of that property and keep it in good shape. That was the thing that kind of goes along with it, that you agree to keep it as a public place and things like that.
A lot of the ballparks, Alfred Elementary Playground, a lot of the tennis courts at the high school, those were all, the Land and Water Conservation Fund money was used for those. A lot of Alfred Park.
Yeah,
There's a nice like interactive map and you can go on and look around in the county and see where the grant's been used. But I didn't see anything else in Lyman. other than on Bunganut.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was in 74.
Oh my gosh. Who's back? All right, so that's the update. Any more questions on LWCF? These documents and reports from Matt Hennison are in a folder in the drive. I did put them in there. And then as soon as Acorn does come out, I'll make sure to email that right out to everybody. Okay, on to D, update on Boy Scout Trails project.
I didn't get a chance to print it out, but Colin said his project was approved. And today he shared with me a Google document with dates in which he plans to meet with the Boy Scouts and get started, starting tomorrow, every Wednesday through October.
Do you know where they're starting at?
No, 9:18 tomorrow, 6 o'clock. So I think he's like solicited volunteers from Boy Scouts and so forth, and asked people to bring tools to work on project, like, like chainsaws, weed whackers and so forth. Gather volunteers, assign jobs, begin to supervise work through the trail once to market, and then start clearing.
Nice. Good for him. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I don't know where they're gonna start.
Yeah.
I'll
Sure.
go tomorrow.
Hopefully we'll see.
Yeah,
Hopefully they
I'll
take some
call
nice
them.
pictures along the way too, so they have that,
that's a good point.
the pictures for posterity's sake. That'd be kind of cool to see the project as it goes through.
And when does he have to have that completed?
I thought November.
Yeah, November doesn't age so.
Yeah.
No.
What's that? Do I know the date?
Yeah,
I don't.
okay.
The last date he's got every Wednesday up till the 9th. He's got like a little schedule, basically saying the same thing for each day. He's got he's got bullets for each Wednesday about what he's gonna do. And they're essentially the same for each day.
It's daylight savings.
I know, that's what I was
I was
wondering.
just thinking the same.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it's
even
gonna be
starting
dark,
at
right?
6. Yeah,
When's daylight savings, anything? Oh, geez.
Yeah, but if he has a crew of young high schoolers, they'll get
Yeah.
it done.
Yeah, they're Boy Scouts.
Yeah, they got it.
They got this covered.
yeah.
Awesome. I'm really excited about that. That's so good.
Yeah.
So then we're on to E to talk about the estimates for steps, which is attached to the agenda. I just put this on here. This is the one from Sebago Dock and Lift. The full amount you see here is not the full amount. Part of it on there here was for the town hall bridge, and that estimate on the side by itself was $14,000. So that 40,000 you see here, that does include the bridge. It doesn't include the installation work, which I think was around $1,600 if I remember from the other one. So about $12,000 is the parts for the bridge that they did an estimate for. That's inside our estimate. We have given a separate estimate to the select board for their posterities. They go forward and figure out whether to do RFPs and get that bridge fixed. So that's something that we can minus out on the total on here. They did offer a 10% discount if we did it before year end, but again, we told them we were looking at funding first and had other things to do. And then an interesting note came up last night at the meeting, if you want to talk about what you and John doing with the ramps. They talked about potentially you was talking about.
I'm not doing this with the ramp.
No, okay, money.
Oh, you jumping to.
No, that was part of it.
Oh.
So Joe and Karen are working on.
I have nothing to do with the ramps. That was Dave's.
Right.
Well,
Do the funding.
the suggestion is if Joe can write the grant in such a way that instead of installing all these stairs at such a high cost, make half of them, or whatever the $10,000 that potentially that grant can bring in. Make those ramps.
Okay, let's rewind so everybody's on the same page. Joe Wagner has taken the lead on getting our membership in AARP so that the town has a membership and then we can start going for grants. One of the women that he's been working with in AARP invited him to something, I think Thursday night, and is actually encouraging us to apply for a grant that I believe is $10,000.
Up to
Up to $10,000. So Dave last night suggested, what he's talking about now, instead of putting steps, putting ramps in.
which might qualify for
Totally.
handicap or, of course, we have handrails,
That'd be cool.
but it might be a lot easier and it could be paid for.
Right. So that's kind of was a good, like, holy moly thought last night.
The most you would get would be 10,000.
Yes.
This is a $40,000.
Right, but what we're talking
Estimate.
about is not doing all the spots with steps. So pick a
Okay.
couple to have a ramp.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like if you-
we had
Yeah.
them quote on like 9, 10 different areas.
Okay.
And some of them are right next to each other,
Yeah,
so
they are.
my recommendation would be to plant some plantings to close off some of those areas because you don't need that many
Yeah.
egresses,
Mm-hmm.
and cut that down to maybe, I think, 3 in the pines, and then maybe, 1 for kayaks and such, and then maybe another one at the other end of the beach area. I think by looking at it, that's all we really need.
Right. And the area way down at the
3,
pines on the
4,
end
5.
is nice and big, so that'd be a nice ramp going in. And someone in a hit could park down there handicap wise in the pines to get into that one.
Yep.
So that was the thought, is that as many ramps as we can get in means less steps. For some of them might need steps because of the way they're kind of high. But for ones that don't, and we can put the ramp in, and if we can get up to $10,000
Mhm.
without,
Is that a match one? Or
no, it's just
nice?
one and done kind of deal. So that's something we probably would need to, is something we should request Joe do?
I
or
think he
you?
was going to ask about it after last night's meeting.
Okay. So just maybe I'll make a note to follow up on that next
I
meeting.
can ask him.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, if you want to follow up on that, Karen, that'd be lovely.
So since we're talking about AARP, just to give you a little bit more insight, I asked Joe if I could work with him on it because I want to learn the grant
Yeah.
writing process. And so, so far, we've put together the application, a letter. We've created a survey to go out to the town.
Yep.
Which is not finalized, but we're working on finalizing that. And, yeah, so the ball's rolling there. And hopefully we'll get some good stuff going.
Awesome. So, let's see. Oh, so then we're on to F. Are we good with the steps and the estimate? So the steps, again, we're not doing, we now have 2 estimates. They're about the same per area. But again, now that the ramp thing came up last night, I think we should kind of pause on the steps until we figure out what happens with ramps.
Yeah. Definitely.
Everyone think that's good?
So we don't have a cost estimate on ramps.
No. I'm wondering if you could
I
reach out
asked
to
about that.
Rick, and do you want to email him and see what he says for some of these areas? He has the measurements.
Yeah.
So he should be able to, yeah, he should be able to give you a quick,
If you figured out steps, he should be able to figure out the ramps.
yeah, he came out and took physical measurements, so
Yeah.
he would be able to do that.
And there doesn't have to be anything existing there for them, okay, for the grant, I mean, okay.
No, because this is all through like elder access.
Yep.
And or not even just elder, impaired.
Yeah, no, I know what
The whole
it
thing,
means, I
so
just didn't know if
nope,
they're
There
looking
doesn't
for
have to be
something there
already
already.
existing, this is to add to, or if you did need to replace, I suppose it would, but it also is for adding to.
Okay,
Do you know what the deadline is for that one?
I don't. He'll find out Thursday. I believe it's this Thursday.
I think we still had time, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it is.
So that would be a simple one, because that's just like, so simple, if the guy from Sebago has the measurements to give the,
Yeah, that's just a permit from the CEO or DEP.
Yeah.
That's really the only other
Yeah, the CEO said she could do a dock, but she can't do steps or ramp. That would have to be DEP.
But that would be probably a permit that will.
Yeah, permit rules.
Even if they're removable, huh?
Yep.
So,
That is the only thing that is, you probably want to make sure they do have wheels that they can get pulled out. Because you don't want them in there when it freezes over unless that water goes,
they
I
drain.
don't know how low that water.
So we
goes.
talked about, and I think somebody said that there was water right up to the steps that are currently there in the winter.
So you, there's no, what am I thinking? Dam, no dam on that pond?
There is.
No, they do, and they do lower it.
They
do
they
lower it.
dropped it at the end of October, and I mean, I've been out there during deer hunt season in November, and there's a pretty significant sandbar, the water level drops off. But the water's still there, it's just kind of, it's like a rippling thing, so there is some water around the steps that are there year round.
So it's not like it could heave and push, it's not that amount of water.
No, it's lower.
So that they might be able to not be removed.
Yeah.
It should save money.
Awesome. So just as an update, like when we were on the tour, with Acorn, and we had, someone had spoken to us about the water in the well at Bunganut, and the water quality was not good. It was tested by the town, and the water came back perfect. So the water in the well are perfect.
Look good to me.
I know. Dave put it in his hands. It was crystal clear. I have worse water than that. I have lots of
Ask them
filters.
about that. What gave the impression that it was bad?
I don't know. I remember the phrase, you want to give it to a dog, but it looked fine. And the testing from the lab analysis, the first test came back and it had cholera, but because it's the water, like anyone, every now and then you have bleach your well.
Yeah.
So they bleached it and did another test,
Oh.
and it's absolutely perfect. Nothing wrong with it. You can drink it. It's fine.
Is there information on that well?
Where is it?
Depth, size?
Yeah.
No.
I'm sure on the cap there is. You know when you drive in and you have the shack, and over by the woods, by the knotweed, there's a teeny tiny, looks like a doghouse. It's really small. It's between the Y and the beach. It's up top.
Okay.
There's
The upper
a
level.
there's a well house there. I would assume John Henry spot drilled it because he did most of the drillings for the town way back in the day, but I don't know. But on the cap, it would tell you everything you need to know. There's a lock on it, so Lindsay didn't even know we had a well there.
I'm sorry, can you explain where it is again, or show me on the map?
So, yeah. All right, so,
I mean, that guy said he was hauling in
It's-
water from his house every day.
I know,
Why would you do that?
yep, I need readers, I can't see, sorry guys. So if you can help me point out, maybe that'll help. So where's the shack?
Right. Oh,
Okay.
that's the mansion.
That's the mansion? So right here is gonna be your well, like it's gonna be right here.
Shacks
So,
to mansion to shack.
Just as you start going, is this a shack?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go this way, it's literally right here on the edge of the woods,
Oh, okay.
up top. Because you have your changing shack over here, right? Like right over here. Like your changing shack is here, like as you're kind of starting to go towards down the hill.
Yep.
Right? So your little
Yeah.
pump house is right here. It's teeny tiny, it's only like a dog house.
This is a changing shack right there.
That's the changing shack.
Yeah.
So right along the edge of the woods though,
Okay.
is your.
In the knotweed?
Yeah, it's right in the knotweed.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like the size of a dog house, and it has padlock on it.
I
Right, right.
never noticed that either.
Don't we have pictures of that somewhere?
I don't recall seeing it.
That'd be pictures. Yeah, so anyways, I thought that was really great news, because if we did want to have some kind of
That's huge.
restroom
Yeah.
or facility up there, the water's great, and we have water. I don't know how, I'm assuming there's a pump in there. I know nothing, nada. I've always known it's there. I never knew why it wasn't used for the Y.
I assumed that they used it. They got the sink.
Right,
out there. I just never questioned it.
No, did I? So I don't know, and then memory serves, and it was a long time ago, something about you get struck by something got struck by lightning, I don't know if it was that, but I just have always noticed that.
The pump was working because we,
Yes,
Turned
it
it on.
works every year. They've never not had it running. I don't know if anything's done to it during the winter. Lindsay didn't even know we had a well there, so my guess is no.
well, now that we have a buildings and grounds committee,
Oh,
you
yes.
can launch
Mention it
those
to them?
questions off,
All right, so I will do that.
let them investigate it.
There has to be paperwork somewhere.
Yep.
I just don't know where. So well up Bunganut, buildings and ground. I just thought that was exciting news and everyone would want to know that.
Mhm.
I was going through some of the books at the town, at the library, the annual reports there, and I found the one from the 90s where it said that they built the mansion,
Oh, really?
90-something.
Was it like a barn raising thing or?
Didn't really say specific.
It
It said it was an addition equal,
Did you find anything on what the other building was?
which building?
The other pad that's there?
No, it was nothing.
Did you find out who actually coined the phrase mansion?
No, it wasn't called that, yeah. It wasn't called that at the beginning.
Someone very creative.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Now, Dave, if I remember correctly, you did have some concerns about the inside of the mansion. It was missing, did you say clips?
Yeah, there's no hurricane clips on that building at all. Not so much for a hurricane, but for lift in general or sway. That should be taken care of. But who are we discussing? Somebody wanted to tear that down. Was that set aside?
I don't know.
Yeah. You
I
guys
mean,
have
I don't
no-
know if it's savable. Do you think it is?
I didn't see anything structurally wrong with it.
The mansion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
You know,
either.
it can look a little harder, but there's no reason.
I think it just
I
needs
mean,
a little.
unless it, I mean,
needs
we
some
didn't
love.
prod around to see if the base is rotted, but.
What would you use it for if,
That's what
the
the
Y's
Building
not
and
using it?
Grounds Committee is for.
Parks and Rec,
yeah,
Community center.
community center.
Yeah.
Gathering place.
I don't know how again, I think that's like another question
For,
from that opinion about the grant thing. How does that, I don't understand.
Does it
I
still-
need more,
did you
I
s-
need him to say that thing he said again about that.
as long as they can,
Access.
like, if someone else can rent it
That's really
out.
clear, right?
Yeah, I know.
I need to see it in writing, that, it's probably in here, actually, in this manual. I need to see that rule, to see how that's worded, so I can understand that better. Or I
Well,
just
it's for
ask him
instance,
again.
if you would be able to rent it out, you're not preventing the public from renting it, you know what I mean? That's like, oh no, only town people can rent it, you know, that type of thing, you can't do that. And I think that's what he was talking about, that was my understanding of what he was saying. But that's definitely, we can ask him again,
I'm
for
sure
sure,
it's defined in here somewhere.
I'm sure it is somewhere. I don't look for that stupid little shack, it has to be bonkers. It's in here somewhere. All right, so do you wanna show your awesomeness on the screen?
Sure.
Whatever you, there's a, can you use this? Will that one work on yours, or do you need the USB one?
I think this will work.
So I met with Karen on the weekend, and she has an awesome friendly input.
Yeah, so this is kind of the way my brain works, like,
I think we're on one.
it just helps me to have a project plan to keep us on track and keep track of our priorities and understand where we're spending money, what our budget, balance is at all given times.
Does that work with yours? I'm not sure.
We did before. Yeah, should I try the other one?
Let me see, maybe you're in one.
I can try, hang on.
No signal.
No, not that one.
Can you just do without that maybe? Maybe that'll work. I think that's what we did last time. You just put that in. It's the same. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's HDMI too. Try one again. Source. 2-1.
Technology.
I know, it's so much fun.
Oh, Jesus,
Try
love it.
HDMI too. Oh, there you go. There you go. Let me turn it a little so it's not on that line. All right.
You can see some of the colors. So anyway, at the top of the list are things that have already been completed. So like the town survey that we did and the summary of results. Parks and Rec Holly took care of replacing the broken slide in the sand pit. Vicky took care of removing the old grills. We got 20,000 from the town. And then Michelle had the select board, or Jeanette established an expendable account for any funds that we raise. So those have all been completed. The next priority, I think, on this list is getting a project plan together. So I know Rusty was working on a 10-year plan, but we haven't seen that yet. And then we've got Acorn's plan that is, so I changed the targeted completion date now to September 20th. And that'll cost us approximately $4,000. So hopefully we get that real soon. And then the town survey results, which should be our priorities, right? The number one thing was develop trail system for all ages. And we've got the Eagle Scout working on that. Fix the bog area is an important one. And then improve access for handicap or seniors. So there's a lot of things that fall under that. You know, it could be steps to the water, it's removing the mulch, it's providing shade. You know, there's a lot of things that kind of fall under that, making it senior friendly. And then creating an event venue was something popular with the town, like little concerts and things like that. Food truck thing, yeah, any type of area where you can have a venue. And then to provide year-round access for winter trail walking, sledding, et cetera. So that's what I have for the priorities. I think what's not in there that we've spent a lot of time talking about is the pines. So I've got the pines in a separate area, because that was not a priority for the town. The town did not ask for that. So I question, why are we spending so much time looking at the pines?
Mm.
And there's a lot of other stuff to be done. The other category is funding. So this is just a list of different things. The fee schedule for the ball fields is something that has been already submitted to the select board. The AARP grant we've already talked about, so kind of elaborated on the steps on this one just because I was familiar with it. And then the LWCF grant that Holly talked about. Michelle did the fundraiser, so I can put $297 in here. Yay.
There's that.
And then Liz Mitchell, you can look into playground grants?
I mean, I've done the research on them a little bit just for the school, but Holly's Land and Water one also covers that. So if we're gonna get money to do that for them, it's sort of repetitive to do it again.
So should I take this out?
Well,
Or do you think there are
still think
separate
there should
ones?
be, I still think we should look for ones for playground, because if we can use the rest of the money from them for something else.
Yeah, no, I absolutely get that.
Yeah.
But if the playground's not going there,
Right, but I think maybe everyone misunderstood me, because even for you and Melissa, all I want to know is the process. I want to
Okay.
know deadlines, I want to know what we can get for funding, how long we have, like what is entailed in the process for the grant for that thing.
okay,
It's not that we're gonna like pull the Band-Aid off and do it now, but But having that information, like knowing that it's gonna take us almost 2 years to get this money, playground grant might be only 6 months, I don't know. So
Yep.
these are things that I want, like Project Canopy, like I want Melissa to dig into that. What are the deadlines? What do we need to apply? How big is this grant that we can get from monies?
Mhm.
What's the whole entire length of process to, does it have to be shovel ready? Does it have to be done? Is it matching? Is it full? It's like just collecting the data on these grants, so we actually have that in our pocket. So when we do have a fundraiser, we can say, you know, we have a grant that we're gonna try to match this with, or that can cover this, but we're gonna need this much more, that type of thing. I think just knowing the process that each of these grants is gonna take, like this one, or like the one for AERP that I'm looking into, it looks really easy, hopefully it is. I think it's just having the knowledge of how long you normally have, when the deadlines are to apply,
Mhm.
is really important to have. So, because it might be that the playground, you know, after we get Acorn's report, it might become kind of clear what we're doing with the playground over there. Because even like how it's set now isn't really conducive to, even what's there might need to be moved. So I
Right.
think seeing what they have to do, and then Dave had some ideas that he had talked about too with like the trees and forest are down there, which I don't know if you want to touch on that now.
Is that something that you can put up there?
Coming up,
Yeah,
put what up there?
the map of the overhead that Kevin did,
I don't have that one on here. Do you have?
anything, you Google Earth.
Yeah, I have maps from Kevin. Let me find out how it works.
Maps from
Do you
Kevin.
have one, Karen? I found one.
I have the Google.
That sounds like an app.
Also, do you know if we can receive federal money from 2 different grants within the same year? Do you know if that, are you familiar with that? Maybe Joe, I know.
That would be a Joe question.
I don't know.
I'll ask them.
My understanding is we can. Because like even like Lindsay's getting FEMA grants, and she's getting, she got something else down, there's a FEMA grant to cover some of the damage from the storm, and then there's also another grant for something else, where you can get grant after grant for towns, there's no. Now, there are grants that say if you've received an award for
Yeah.
something else, you can't have this, like, they usually spell it out in the grant you're looking,
Mhm.
is normally what I found. There's a pointer over there, Dave, on the table,
I do know what I was looking for.
it's right there.
Where?
See the little pen?
Oh, laser?
Is that good enough, or do you need something more detailed?
I have like one like Kevin has, do you want me to pull this one up?
Yeah, if you can have Kevin.
Let me see if this will do it.
Kevin is-
I'll make if this works, I might need to do it differently too.
Up here,
Is that what you want?
yes.
Do we make it bigger?
Sure.
The building's not big enough.
Okay.
Where do you want it? Here?
Let me see where we are. So bring it to the little right. Okay. So that's the jetty that we walked. There's that little stone.
Yep, Stone Chapel's down there.
Okay.
Want me to make it bigger at all, or are you good?
No. Let's see, so we came in. is that
Yes.
Here.
Yes,
Okay. So we walked this trail.
Yeah.
From this trail, so all these things on here, this is your future.
well, the playground is there, is,
Yeah.
that's the playground that
That's
is
all
there.
there.
Is that, oh no, that's the one,
No.
that's not there, sorry.
So this is all this is eroded, water erosion, this whole thing. So, I mean, he obviously, and I agree, I mean, there's certain inexpensive things you can do with turnouts and some erosion control products, like what's in front of the beach that don't belong there, that you can use to correct and slow that water down. Inexpensive, something that you should probably think about. So that goes here. Now, there was, I don't understand what.
That is the playground that's there, so it's the swing set and the jungle gym.
What
and
is
then
this blue? This blue is.
That's water,
That's the bog.
It's the boggy
the
area.
boggy area.
Okay.
It's grass, but it's also bog.
Okay. So we were down here. That's where we
Yeah.
were. So there's a couple of trees. Is this where the sacrificial
Yeah.
place is?
See where
Yes.
that yellow line comes down?
See where the yellow line is?
Right where the yellow line comes down is
Yeah.
that amphitheater they call it,
Amphitheater.
right there.
Sacrifice.
So there's a couple of trees here.
Yeah.
Are we on tape?
God, you're killing me.
I
love it.
There's a couple of trees here that are topped and in the water, that can come out. And the stump can be cut down. So he's talking, he recommended, and I agree, to be using smaller machinery, cable winches, things like that, so you don't leave a big footprint. You know, what you're doing is you're basically cleaning what's there. You're cutting minor stuff that's here that will help this trail, but you're not making it,
Right.
so big. It's still gonna be a walking trail.
Right, because
But
the
in the-
conversation with Acorn was we can do a third harvesting down there.
Yeah, in the end, I think what you would want is something so that a quad or something for somebody who's running the park is gonna be able to get down there, for whatever reason.
Or even rescue.
For even rescue, right? So in this area here, the Y put some structures up, they bolted it to the trees and it's pretty much rotted. And can you ask them to take it down prior to any forestry going there?
We can.
Because it's in the way. There's a lot of debris that can be cabled out and chipped up in that area. I don't know if they were just over the years throwing it there, but if they, if the logger is able to gather it, clear it up, chip it, now you're putting it down and
Right.
and it's useful.
Yeah.
Again, there's a few spots in here that a few trees have to come down. And what it will make is a nice, 20 by 20, couple of circles in there where you can put a picnic table and have an area to go shoot that be what you want,
Along the trail.
or off the trail.
So like little pockets of picnic.
Little
areas.
pockets that are in there that the trees are leaning, they're broken, they can cable them out of there, chip them up, and again, they're gonna leave the chips in that circle, and what you're gonna be left with is more area for you to look at and say, wow, we can do this or we can do that, because now it's accessible and clean, So we came back, there's more to do there, but, there really wasn't much. We decided not to go anywhere near these trails because there's a lot of erosion there, and any kind of skidding or machine or anything large like that is probably gonna just create more of a water issue. So back here, this is the area where all that mulch is.
Yep.
I don't know what's under the mulch. I didn't see it prior, but that should be removed.
Should used to be sand and now it's
And-
dirt and roots.
It's hard.
Well, they can remove that and at very least put back, with the chips, put back softer, smaller chips instead of the large, bulky.
There shouldn't be any chips there.
Well,
Acorn
it would
was,
be perfect to have sand.
Acorn was saying, I forget
Yes,
who
Kevin
I
talked to them.
spoke with at Acorn, but they said they could bring sand in and not have to reclaim the sand from the water. Unless I totally misunderstood, but I
I
understood
thought
that
Kevin
from
said
her.
you had to
They
reclaim the
brought sand
sand.
into Kennebunk Pond.
I don't see why they couldn't.
Yeah, they brought sand into Kennebunk Pond.
We can ask that question
They don't
again.
know.
To reclaim it in the water is causing more ecological damage than,
Yeah, I agree.
Me too.
Acorn.
So that would be the
Yeah,
perfect
that is
scenario to
question.
resand.
Yeah.
There was a couple of areas up here that they can pull certain trees out. And what I was recommending is when we do that, we can meet as a committee with a forester. If anybody has any concern or anything, you guys can say yay and nay right there and then, I was just giving him the overview. So in the volleyball area, we were talking about potentially making this larger. So you really can't go this way. So there's just one tree here that can come down and that could double the space. Right there for 2 more volleyball nets.
Is it too wet
This
to
is,
go south,
this is,
west?
To go west, it's too
I mean, I
This
know,
way here?
I know it shows blue
it
there.
drops off and it gets wet. And you're starting to encroach and he wasn't comfortable with that.
I think that's also where the pipe is running from
I
the
think so.
lake. The pipe is running from the lake to the irrigation pond on the other side through the ditch along the volleyball. Do you guys remember seeing that?
Yeah, it comes out at one of those bridges right there.
Yeah, so it's coming through pretty close to the volleyball area into the woods. You can see it.
There was more cleanup here, to be just skidded out by cable. So coming down here, there was an area that was kind of perfect for a handicap. It was already kind of open and there's a couple of trees that need to come down anyway. So, we talked about making that an area for at least two handicap spots.
For the pines,
I think that's what you and I were looking at, Kevin.
because you'd have to walk through the pines to get to the beach, right? So that wouldn't be for beach access.
Well, that would be,
for
right.
pines access.
No, we were talking about other parking over here.
Yeah,
It was
Just
over here.
handicap.
okay,
Yeah.
just wanted to.
Yeah, there was more than one spot.
Yep.
So that was for the pine area.
Yeah.
Put a ramp in the pines and at the beach area.
Yeah.
Would be handicap on both
Both
sides.
sides,
Yeah.
yeah. So if they need to be in the shade, they're in the shade. If they want to be outside,
And-
they're outside.
This here can be thinned out a bit.
Hmm.
And as it gets thinned out, it can be, methodically looked at and, like I said, little circles of trust
Mhm.
can be there for future use, whatever that may be, whether it be campsites, whether it be just picnic sites, whatever your vision is.
Mhm.
I think it's important just to get them in there, clean the whole thing up, and then you guys look at it, and see where you want to go.
They're definitely having a domino effect of every storm is getting worse.
Oh,
It's-
absolutely.
The trees are so big down there.
But I think once you see it all cleaned up, and that was the other thing, ground down, paths made, you're gonna see areas that you might be able to do something with very inexpensive.
Yeah.
To create an area that the public would like. This jetty, great for fishing, can be just cleaned up right in the center and make it a little more friendly with chips laid down for easier
And there's no
walking.
problem with taking trees along the shore there?
It's like a prism, that you can take so much out.
12 points for each,
They-
25 by
they have a
25.
formula,
I'm going through it right now for my
Yeah.
yard.
yeah.
I think
So it can be open, we both walked it, I mean, it's not much, but,
It's something.
you're gonna be able to get from one tip to the other, and you're gonna be able to fish.
Yeah, which would be
You
great
know,
for
it'd be a
kids.
good fishing spot. Again, this area here, it'll all be thinned out, nothing crazy. This here, you saw that you have all kinds of missing stones, well, actually, not all kinds, there's not
Okay.
many. So I put out a hail to a mason, just to see if he would fix it. I bet you the stones are right there.
Yeah.
They just fell out of age. It wouldn't take much to patch that up. That was pretty much it.
I have a couple of questions. So Melissa was talking about the red pines, right? All of the red pines that were planted after the fires, and that there are so many of them that we should be able to take down like every other, something like that. along that pathway that you walk through the pines all the way down to the chapel. Did they
yeah,
talk about that?
yes,
Okay.
yes, but I didn't give him a scope of work. I gave him a feel of what's there.
Mhm.
What I'm suggesting is, when that comes to light, and it could sooner than later, that we all meet there with him. Because once they're gone, they're gone. And I just wanna make sure that everybody's on board with what's going away, But when it's gone, it's gonna be chipped up, it's gonna be, neat, clean, it'll be picnicky.
So that leads to the question of funding or cost.
Well,
So where are we at
It's-
with that?
it's a good time, it's a good time to do it, because
Yeah.
this is one of the properties that is on the harvesting.
Okay.
There's no money here,
Yep.
or very little money.
Yep.
For the forester. That's why smaller equipment, cabling, it'll be less expensive. But it probably can be offset by another piece of property and that has to get passed by the treasurer and town manager. But the offset of cost, I'm hoping, can just be deferred to this project, so you don't have to come up with any. I mean, in a sense, the town's paying for it anyway.
Right.
But the taxpayer won't.
Got it. So that would be a question for me to maybe email Jeanette and town manager.
Yeah.
As a follow-up.
But why? I just kind of keep going back to, we need a plan, we need a vision.
This is,
Why move forward with doing anything there if we don't need it? If it's
because we're
gonna
in the
cost the town.
because we have, because we've been working on this for over 2 years, 2.5 years,
To do the
to
harvesting.
do the harvesting. And we have the contractors, and we have the foresters.
So that's a town project, it's not a Bunganut committee project.
It will be filtered through the town project with the benefit going to the Bunganut
Okay,
Park.
okay.
So I'll ask those
Okay.
questions in an email and see what they say.
I mean, that's the whole purpose of doing any harvesting is to benefit the residents.
Yeah.
This will eventually benefit the residents of everything that you're doing.
Just gives us a better
How?
view of what's in there.
Is that serious? How? How will it benefit when you clean everything up and you make it accessible and you make it more attractive for people to come and use it?
It'll clean up a lot of the dead stuff and start the stuff that's on its way to,
Hmm.
because the 1/3 of harvesting does not include standing dead. Standing dead goes no matter what. So that's something Acorn said as well, it's not included in the count,
What's that?
a dead tree.
No.
If it's standing and dead, it's not included in the count towards the third.
And that's the whole
And there's
purpose
a lot
of
of dead.
of going there, and if any concerns, we say it to them right there and then. I mean,
I
it's
think
not
it'd make
like,
it safer, honestly.
all it's doing is cleaning it up,
Mhm.
opening it up, let the sunlight in, stop any disease that's going on, it's forest management too. And if we have them doing that to other properties, I think this would be a good property to do proper forest management, and it will benefit the residents in the long run.
Just think it gives us a better view of what we can do with some of the space. And maybe, if it opens up, say, the jetty, we take photos and start publicizing, hey, come fishing.
Yeah, you can get your
Right.
littles down here and fish.
Have a Parks and Rec fishing party. Holly's dying to do that.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, can you have,
Put the horns on.
to the parking lot across the street? Is there any potential for clearing
Yes.
trees out there to increase the parking?
That's what I want to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we concentrate down here, but the day that we meet,
Okay.
we can walk any way we want.
And also the other side that we talked about where there isn't parking that we want to make.
Right
Yeah,
here.
I would love.
It's right there, is that what you're talking about?
Other side.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty clear a couple of years ago. It's now all, 8 foot
Yeah.
But how hard is that to get cleaned out to,
Well, probably not too hard. I mean, that's all, basically their mulcher, their forest mulcher.
Well, and they already
Is
have
that the
equipment
area
there.
that they were
Yeah.
talking about with the ARPA funds originally on that
Um,
side?
Yeah, to bring it, to make that a big parking lot.
It had to be level,
Yeah.
and there was more than just forestry, there
Yeah.
was some of the work that had to
But
be
that's
done,
also,
right?
that's also what we're looking for.
that's the existing lot. That's the existing lot, I think, is what was being looked at, not the one not the one on the ball field side.
Correct.
Oh,
That's what we're looking at
Yeah,
on some of these properties to see if there's, gravel that the town can take and utilize instead of paying for it. Maybe putting out, there's 1,000 truckers here.
Yeah.
Maybe putting out
They
Hey,
go,
let's have some sort of thank you plaque, and put their names somewhere and, can you do 5 loads from town property to town property, that type of thing.
I was just wondering if it's something that can be opened up anyway while we're doing this anyway, and then have somebody come in and do that evening out part.
Yes,
I mean, it was opened up, correct? And
Yeah.
now it's just like,
well, the stumps weren't run down.
Right.
Was the problem. I mean, if you're gonna make it parking, you're probably gonna have to pull the stumps
Yeah,
and, move them, but, at very least, grind them down so that
Yep.
it makes them easier in the long run to pump and bury.
so that's something that you can look at when you're looking at the rest of the park with the forester and
Yep.
see. That way we'll know what we're up against. And again, if there's a fundraising event for parking increase on field side, that's something we can have a fundraiser on. If there's, or look for a grant for that beyond, again.
I think we can
simple
do
one.
that on our own. If we can get it cleaned up, I think that we can find somebody to do for us rather
Hopefully.
inexpensively.
So these are good things. I
it's a lot.
don't have time during the day for meeting over there, so I kind of leave it to, Holly, I know with you with the trees, you've got a ton of Missy over there, and you would be super critical, and Kevin, you've done a bazillion things, and we've all been down there, so I don't know what everyone's schedule is. Because I think even doing it could open up to even a lot more trails for people to walk down there.
Right.
Which is kind of cool, because right now you
Yeah.
can't, there's like one path in, one path out.
Yep.
That's the goal of any of the harvesting, is to end up with a trail system and to try and connect the different trails to different parcels around town.
Yeah. So people have a place to access.
Well, they have a destination, hopefully.
Yeah.
And this would be a great destination.
Well, people ask for a walking area, so that
I
way.
was gonna say that. And we did hear about parking too, right? So, so those are big ticket items for the town.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah, that's awesome, Dave. So I guess I will leave it, if someone wants to, Dave, if you want to orchestrate with talking to the forester, see any dates that could be met, so at least if we have some numbers or we
Is it-
know.
I'm not gonna say that he'd meet on the weekend, but I'll ask him if that's best for the committee.
I'm fine, if anyone wants, I can't do weekdays, that's all.
Weekdays
I
are
can.
actually better for me, but
If anyone else can go, that's awesome, just let us know how it goes.
Why don't I ask him, and I'll get back in touch
Yeah.
with you, and then we can do the.
And then see who can make it, and, because I know, Holly, you just have a ton of info about trails, and you've probably walked every inch of that area, so, she's been right on it since the get-go.
So that's good,
Yeah.
because, you're gonna see, pockets that might be opening up, and there may be something that
Yeah.
maybe your vision, that you want a trail going to wherever.
Yeah, I think what I see now over there are, there's like, it's almost like a maze. There's all these little offshoots, and then you get out into that larger property, which the Eagle Scouts are hopefully gonna be start clearing again tomorrow, but, I don't know, I'd actually like to put together a map without all that, and just to show, okay, these are all like the access points in and where they all go, And then if we create more, I just feel like it's more to maintain or more of a maze. I don't know. I could
I
be
think a
wrong,
lot of them
but
there are like not super clean or clear, or have some
Yeah.
trees that are kind of unsafe
Yep.
with them. So I think that maybe you could be able to point out, say, if we could do this swath here, you know what I mean? Because some of the little trails dead end, there's nowhere to go, right, to walk through some pucker to get somewhere else.
yeah,
You know, that happens too a lot.
there's a lot going on like behind the mansion.
It's just, now's the
They
time to
never
do
went near
it
the
because
man,
the
they didn't go
equipment,
near the
the
mansion.
equipment will be there,
Yeah.
so.
He didn't even go behind the mansion because we knew that was kind of Boy Scout area, so never even bothered going over there. We never walked it. He never took the forester over there. Because I know the Boy Scouts are coming in from that side and just kind of left that be.
Yeah.
Until that project was done.
What's the timeline look like realistically of like when this would actually happen if we were to move forward?
This could happen before the first of the year.
Which I think would be great.
Yeah.
The harvesting was awarded, last night.
So the area.
So by next meeting, they're gonna have a schedule, and if it was beneficial to, do this first, we could.
So you can basically ensure that it would get on their schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't want us to have to jump through hoops to get it to be part of the plan.
No,
Okay.
I mean, it's, again, this has always been part of the plan.
Okay.
I mean, that's.
They just made sure to
Some
stay
of
away
these
from
funds
Boy Scouts.
eventually are gonna go anyway. That was the master plan.
Right.
But maybe at that point, if the Boy Scouts haven't gotten to that end, or if they don't
Right.
start over there, they can go the other
And
way.
then there's all those other trails grants too.
Yep.
That can help us meet it up to bring it fully
I
finished.
think that will be that, yeah, in
Yeah.
the long run.
So that's why it'll be nice to look into that grant, see the process there. I think with I never can say their name.
Gotcha.
I mean, I think they're bigger, like some of the bigger stuff that we could do over there, like a restroom or a big parking lot or a meeting area, a covered area for people to do things, would be more beneficial with that kind of grant as well. Again, once we get the Acorn study and see what they say. And, because I mean, I can't imagine it's gonna be cheap to take care of that bog area. I don't think we're looking at pennies, we're not looking under 20 grand. That's gonna be one hell of a project. So I think right
That's
there is
so
gonna be
critical though, that and the hill
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Dave was talking about. I mean,
There,
you gotta make sure you got good bones on the house before you start
Yeah.
decorating it, right?
Yeah.
there was a few things, let's see,
I'm just trying
can
to
you
track
bring it
his
back
language.
yet?
Where would you like to go?
Where do we come in? Oh, I'm sorry,
Right, the changing shed
So,
to the
yeah,
death stairs.
This is where the stairs are, the
Yeah.
death
Yes.
stairs.
Yes.
That's-
Probably neat.
Again, for short money, there's no turnouts here for water. Okay, there's no erosion control. Both sides should have erosion control.
Right, that's what Acorn's working on.
And then, we're gonna have to be creative with what's going on here. And
Yeah, that's what they're working on
We
right
kind
now.
of wanted to
Acorn's
just
working on
take it
that.
out and reroute people around
So
where
that,
you are.
This here,
So
Yeah.
fix all of the drainage issues from Brock Road all the way down to the bog area.
is this the bog? No.
Now the blue is the bog area.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing that Acorn had talked about was.
This is, I'm not to interrupt.
That's all right.
I just don't want to get my bearings.
that's just.
This
one
is what
area.
can be built up,
Yes,
because it's far enough away from the water.
Yes.
So it doesn't have to be boggy. This can actually be filled.
Right, it needs to
Okay.
be fixed, yeah.
Yeah, I took my tool station out there, and it was, that whole grassy area is like 4 to 5 inches above the lake level.
Right.
So when the lake's at its highest point, and the water is basically seeping.
Yeah.
through there, it's got no way of draining.
So Acorn was talking about using the mulch from, all the trees
Yeah.
all along that, can you pull up?
Here?
No, the other way, I'm sorry, go down, I guess. This way, all along the walkway from the Wise camp area Yeah.
From the
That
shoreline,
blue
to
line,
shoreline to the stone
yeah.
chapel.
They were talking about using, the mulch from whatever we take down all along that area and then the pines.
For the footpath.
For the
Yes.
footpath.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's what I
We're on the
discussed
same
with them.
page there,
Yeah.
okay.
And then you use stump grindings for edges where, your water would happen to wanna wash it away. And then you create, actually down here, you create an area for the water to go other than just wash the mulch away.
Right.
So I think we're on the same page
Yeah.
with everything.
No, I was really glad you were coming on the committee. This made me very excited knowing that harvesting was coming.
I think you'd be really happy. I know it seems like we're creating a monster here, but I think in the end, what you're gonna get is some pristine property that, you can take a walk and, there's places to walk, but it's really.
It just cleans it up,
Risky,
opens it
yeah.
up, makes it prettier for the eye.
Well, and safer, like I said, there's a lot of hanging limbs, there's a lot of half toppled over
Yeah,
trees, and every time we have a storm, it seems to be the bigger trees go over and wreak some havoc.
and even we were talking about the ramps, even if you had, 1, 2, 3 and stop, it's a lot better than what you have now if it gets paid for
Right,
by the grants
Right.
that Joe was talking about.
Right.
The AARP.
Yeah, I think in looking at the, those areas with the step guy, there's a large opening in the first Pines area. And while we were there was actually a family bringing in all their kayaks there, and you can see why that land is so eroded there, because if they're bringing kayaks there because there's no other ramp closer to the
Right.
beach,
Yeah.
there definitely needs to be something there. And then one close to the, where people can drive in and drop off their kayaks and paddle boards and stuff. And then the other one was, what's the bridge? Well, there was one in the second
one over
Pines
here.
area.
And then there was one over here.
There was one like at the end of the picnic table area.
Is it-
Yeah, right in
for
that,
the gym?
to the right.
Right there,
Yeah, right there.
That's why.
Yeah.
And even if that's what
And
you,
then by the chapel, you'd have to figure out how to clear some trees there.
this right here?
Yeah, there's trees in the way.
That's,
Well, Kevin, wasn't there also talk about there's grants for a boat launch itself?
The state has a grant program for boat launches. They prioritize for motorized craft.
do you really want to do that?
No, we don't
but
want
they-
it
But they also
motorized.
have it available for hand
Yeah.
for canoes.
Because there was one that was started, we were looking at the documents, we have it, where they tried to do a boat launch, but there was such opposition, but I think they were allowing motorized. We only want
Yeah.
canoes, kayaks,
For a
paddle boards.
State boat plant right through the Stone Chapel back in 98.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have all the paperwork for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of opposition.
Well, I would imagine it would.
And we're not looking for motorboat access there, we just want period.
Kevin, is that something you can look up?
Yes, I found it before on the state
Putting it on your spreadsheet.
Bureau of Land.
Say
Yeah.
it already? I already signed it up.
I'll
Thank you.
reacquire that.
Awesome. Sweet, does anyone have any more questions for Dave? All right, just circle out the emails when you get a word from the forester, and you guys can take it from there and just let us know. Like I said, I know if it's daytime, I won't make it weekend potentially, but you guys are awesome, and I know you'll take care of it.
Just remember, we can do as much or as little as the committee wants.
Right.
It's just, if you want to do it, all I'm saying is.
Now's the time, and we could be one of the first on the list.
Even across the street, the mulching across the street, if that, the buy, if you think, and again, I don't remember the terrain, I think does sink down.
It does, yeah.
So I don't know if you can park there without bringing in fill, but if you grind everything down and it's just, a lot of times you can still park.
Yep. Even if it adds a few spots, it helps.
Well, even on the other side, they, Liz, that's smart,
Right.
where it says potential parking, there is no parking there, there's just a gate, and it's all just
Right. But
So-
even if you can put 5 cars in there, it helps.
anything, because it is, it's, when they have anything along there.
Mhm.
Well, that's
They're all on the
something,
street.
that's something that we can look at when we
Yep.
look at it. Fair enough?
Awesome. Dave, you are a godsend. Thank you so much for tackling that and meeting with him down there, and that's awesome.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you. All right, that's a super cool.
But I'm gonna have to say goodnight. if that's
Yes,
okay.
no, go ahead. Thank you so much, Dave. I really appreciate you stopping by and bringing your lovely wife. And thank you for letting us borrow your husband.
Thank you.
Don't have too much fun in that truck. That is like
Cheers.
amazing.
Good night. Don't forget your purse.
He does. Thank you, Dave.
Night.
Good night.
Bye.
That's pretty cool, guys. All right.
So it's too bad we don't have Acorn.
Well, by
No.
the time you meet, we'll have it by then, because it's.
Right, so I'm just
meeting
wondering,
day
because we put this meeting off till tonight
Yeah.
to have Acorn's report.
now. Right.
How much sooner can we get back together again to review that?
I'm not sure that even just clean, like you said, we can do as little or as much. So I don't know that it's going to affect what we decide from the report, because either it means we take out more eventually or we leave it as
But if we
is.
can do it all
But
at
just
once, and
cleaning
let's say
it
they
up.
say this is a great area
Right.
for parking.
Right.
Or something.
Yeah.
Well,
I just think
today's-
having that plan,
Today's the 17th. They're not gonna, I mean, I don't think you're meeting in the next 2 days with Forrester.
Right.
You know, if we have to just all kind of look at it and in an email, kind of throw out thoughts and ideas of, you know, looking at it, let's go for more, let's go for less, just looking at the report.
Yeah.
We can kind of communicate via report if it's like kind of like a super important, let's get her done. We can try to throw a meeting in for like in 2 weeks or a week if you want. But be really waiting to see when you guys are meeting with the Forester.
Just wait and see when
You
we,
know, I think if we have to squeeze one in, we can try. You know, even if we all did it by Zoom, we could set up a Zoom.
Mhm.
And meet that way. That one work, and then we could do it quick. It's just to talk about the report. All right, so we skipped over that just to get Dave. Sorry about that, guys. So Karen, you can go back to your. Did you finish with your?
so the only other stuff was, your fundraising stuff that was not until the future. Michelle and I were kind of kicking around different,
It'll eventually. Temperamental.
kicking around just some ideas, but, obviously that's all, we have, like sponsorship, corporate type sponsorship ideas to have a trail named after, if you donate so much, or benches, or I forget what Stones was, but.
Peg McDonald was with me at, like I said, with the town manager, and she was like, have you guys done anything at Funky Bow? And I said, no. I said, I know they just did it. She's like, and I don't know Paul that well. So she wound up, she knows Paul very well, and she talked to him, and he's like more than willing to let us have a fundraiser there. And Peg's like, well, what about an ugly sweater contest? And I'm like, they have dogs, kids. So it could be something we could pull up. I do think that as much as like, we're like, hold the fort, we have to figure out what we're gonna, we have a non-lapsing account for any monies. I think, especially with Funky Bow, it's more public, it's not just the town. I think getting the word out there, we're doing something. Because people were so excited, they were just coming over and putting $20 in the jar when they saw it. I think it's getting the word out that we're doing this. We want to know what you want, we've done the survey, this is what we are moving forward with. But I think people knowing there's actually a committee doing something. And then we're trying to bring the community together as well with a little something fun at the holiday time, that Funky Bowl.
I just know I would not donate to something where there was no plan.
But we are gonna have a
I-
plan by then. We're gonna have the
Yeah.
Acorn thing.
Well,
So,
as long as I think there's a
No,
plan and
yeah.
there's, we can articulate what that plan is. And I think that the more that you are raising funds for something specific, the more
Yep.
successful you'll be, rather than We want to revitalize Bunganut.
No, I think
Yeah.
that we're gonna have
I
the,
agree.
my thought process was we're gonna have the Acorn report. We're gonna go in and say we're fundraising to do this. We have the opportunity to have a 50-50 match grant, but we need to raise our portion of the funds. And that was my thought process anyways, I don't know if anyone thought differently.
Another note is I've seen fundraisers down there, you don't make as much as you think you're gonna make. And you can't really sell tickets. They usually offer
Right.
like you get a portion of the pizza
Right.
sales of the night or the beer sales or whatever.
Right.
But it's not, I mean, we're talking maybe $1,000.
Right, but it's something, like it's something, just get that we're doing something, like I said, Karen and I kicked around some ideas of doing, but, and there are some regulations with it, even doing like, a bingo night somewhere, I mean, those can be big, and having a silent auction at the same time. It is thinking outside the box differently, and what our options are in town, they're hard.
I think you gotta go to a higher level on this, because who is vested in this project? It's basically the people in the town of Lyman, right? How many times can you go back to the same people asking for money? So you need to get the biggest bang for your buck.
Yeah.
When you plan these things, and I
Yeah.
think if you just
Yeah.
go like
Fundraiser,
this,
fundraiser,
you're
they're
not
gonna be
gonna be
like, no,
successful.
exactly. It needs to be big things, big people donating, big businesses, big
something that they're
whatever.
really interested in.
And then maybe
attending.
one time when we're closer, if we need the final stretch, that's when you do the smaller scale things that
Yeah,
close
I
the gap of what's needed.
See,
But-
as being on the budget committee, I've watched the Historical Society do some pretty damn amazing fundraising, and they do it nonstop. So, they have self-funded themselves for years until the town finally gave them something. And they raise a lot of funds. I've seen their spreadsheets, I've seen their stuff. So it's not out of the question to do some of these small things if people are excited about it. Yeah, I do agree, big bang for the buck, but I think in that sense, you almost want to find a local business that wants to have their plaque in the park. You know what I mean? Something like that, or the guys that we're talking to, that you find someone that's looking to.
Like a benefactor.
I was hoping, yeah, and on the same thought, I was thinking, if Acorn says, hey, it's gonna cost you this much money to fix the swampy area, could we get one company that's willing to say,
And there could
we
be,
could,
and that's
do
a
this
bad,
for
that's a
you
matter of
type
tracking
of
down
thing.
what companies do we have in Lyman that could do that, could swing that.
Yeah.
Do we have anything that big?
Oh, yeah.
I feel, to what you just said. And you too, you fundraise way more than I do. I just feel, and you too, anybody with kids, it's like fundraising from every angle, from every organization that you're involved in, and you're hitting up the same people. And I don't like asking.
Yeah.
I don't like doing that. So I get kind of cringy
Right.
doing, but I know that.
I don't
keeps
mind
at the
doing
historical-
it. There has to be, there has to be something in it. for
Tangible.
The other person,
I don't like asking. I don't mind doing
Yeah.
it. But yeah, I haven't seen the historical society out and about, to be honest.
They just had a yard
I
sale this
don't-
past weekend,
Yeah.
they were at
Yard sales
Acton
a purpose
Farm,
lot to do that.
they were at Acton Farm, they were at Acton Fair for the whole week. Yeah, they're constantly doing
Yeah.
something, constantly.
Do you know what have been some of the cemetery committee's most successful fundraisers?
The cemetery committee?
Is that what you said?
Historical.
No,
Oh,
Society.
Historical society.
No, I haven't asked them. Cemetery committee.
No, they just
They
started.
just started. They haven't done, I think they tried fundraising once and a while ago, and they only got a couple $100. I never knew they were fundraising ever, so that was even a surprise to me they were doing it. I guess they tried to do a GoFundMe page years ago. I didn't even know about it. But they haven't fundraised until recently, and they did one at Funky Bow, and it did not go well, but I only saw it for a couple days, the flyer. I don't think it was advertised for anything either. Listen, I think you have to have something like an auction or a contest or something that goes with it if you're going to do it, to get people out. And then, I mean, if no one's interested, that's fine. We can put it off for now and then wait till spring to do a fundraiser. So maybe it's we track down what corporations we have in Lyman that we think would want to donate to the park or have their name on the park.
I'm excited to see what Acorn says
Mhm.
and what we're looking at, because I really have no concept of what
Same.
type of monies we're looking at.
I don't think they're giving us quotes because they can't.
Right,
Because
that's true.
of it would cost extra to do that. But I think that our lovely gentleman who just left probably gave us
Yeah.
it pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's what he does for a living.
Yep.
So I don't think there'll be a problem with us even, and Kevin, you are in that business as well.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's gonna be that hard for us to ballpark what it's gonna cost us. The RFPs are gonna have to go out anyways, no matter what, on this one, because it will be bigger than 10,000. So I don't worry about trying to figure out what it's gonna cost. I think it's gonna be pretty clear with just a couple of lines being put together of what there is to do, and that's just one area. But again, that's the area we'd like to present to the public that we're working on. I mean, the trail's already being done by the Boy Scouts, so I think we all have the same frame of mind that we'll take over where they leave off when Colin's done his project as far as he can get. Because we know that is a want of the townspeople. And hopefully we'll have other grants to go for more trails. Shade's a big one, like we said, so there's your project canopy that we have to look at. Just knowing timing of everything, I think is so critical. Because,
Project Canopy is a good one.
yeah, so that's Melissa, I think she missed that one, so like, so we'll see if we can get her back on that. You have her on the spreadsheet for that, right? So we'll just kind of revisit, especially when she's like, so she's not here, so maybe she wants to meet by Zoom, so I'll kind of present that to her as well, she can join by Zoom. So we'll table the fundraiser for later till next meeting, when we have more time to kind of talk. Maybe we want to, for an action item, I guess I'm at a loss of how we figure out what businesses are in alignment. Unless everyone wants to throw their own list out there
For what?
for donations.
I mean, again, I don't think we can go
Wait.
ask until
No,
we know.
I'm not saying we're going out, I'm saying compiling a list.
I can do that. Maybe.
Okay.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, I am not talking about going to anyone, guys. It's just being prepared, having the data we need.
Google.
You know, guys,
There's 5 million
pets
gravel
and-
pits.
Yeah,
But I mean, you do, how much do they make? I don't, it is a matter of maybe there's someone who's a real conservationist that is, I don't know. I mean, I wish we knew how to find.
wealthy donors.
They have to be out there somewhere. I think if we just had a list and then we can all talk about it, and so we're not gonna present anything or go to anyone until we have a document that lays out everything that we'd like to do in a scope of project. That's very important to have that, so you're holding true to what you're telling them the money is being used for.
I think it might be more beneficial to maybe create like a post or a flyer when we're ready that we're looking for larger scale donors
Yeah.
instead of like going and asking. Maybe first we put it out for people to come to us.
So kind of like the football league does with be a gold star member for this much, and
Yep.
then you get a plaque.
Sort of, but
Yeah.
a little bit,
More
do you,
refined.
these are the things we need. Like we're looking for donations here. We're also looking for, do you have a business that provides fill? Like that, whatever we need in the moment. Ask that way first.
And if
And then,
not, then financially, would you be willing to donate?
Right.
Stuff like that. Yep, I think that's a great idea. All right, so that was kind of the fundraising I was talking about. So Karen's gonna look up for businesses in Lyman.
Not just in Lyman, surrounding
Around?
area as well.
yeah. Because at the end of the day, this park is utilized by all of the district, basically.
Waterboro's a big one.
Waterboro's right there.
very big.
The business
Alfred.
cares about the eyes that see their plaque
Yep.
or whatever it is. So.
Full of pug ice cream, lots of kids. Just saying, Kona Ice. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Karen, for taking that on. So grants, like I said, not necessarily grants committee. Someone had mentioned that, so I just supported the idea that when it was mentioned, but maybe just a spreadsheet so we can track the grants we're working on or grants that we can think of that would apply to Bunganut as things come up, like the boat launch or like the Project Canopy, or we're doing the LW. Got it. You know, and maybe someone here is know another grant that we can put on there. I did talk to, and this will be for the town, there's a stream crossing grant that Joe is looking into for the town to cover that bridge. So a stream crossing grant is one that may come in handy down the road again, because we do have more than one obstacle going to jump over water in the park. But right now, the one that's in severe need of replacing, Joe is looking into that. And that's the town taking care of that, but that is, you know, part of that. Love the spreadsheet. And then, okay, budget proposal. Did everyone have a chance to sort of kind of look at the budget proposal and the questions that were asked? Again, this was a generic form that was sent out to every chair of every committee. This was not specific to Bunganut. This was for every committee, every board.
I started reading it, and I don't think it makes sense to spend any time on it till we see a clean tree from it.
Okay, so you table it till next time?
That in my opinion, that's just
Yep.
my opinion.
Sure. We have to have it in by the 31st is when they want it by.
Okay.
So as long as we can meet for them to do it, and so we'll put that at the top of the list for next meeting?
Yeah.
To do budget? Okay.
So if we do a Zoom meeting or something after we get the Acorn report, maybe we can tie that in. And just get all that done at once.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That should be easy enough. Like, so some of the questions don't apply to us.
They really
Yeah.
don't,
No,
yeah.
none of them repeat, they're like kind of the same answers.
Yeah,
So like,
It's
so
more
this
for
is,
that department budget.
Yeah.
yeah, let's say I just threw it out there, wanted to see what I got. It's for each committee, each whatever, so I just wanted you guys to see it. If there's something we want to put on here instead of what they're asking, that's great too, just let me know. The spreadsheet with the numbers on it was just so everyone could search and see what Bunganut already costs per
Yeah,
year.
One note on that is potentially for a future project, not right away, but to put in some permanent restroom facilities. The cost for porta potties is just skyrocketing.
Yep.
We're looking at over $3,000 in the current budget just for porta potties.
Yeah. Karen, if you want to put me on there for, because I was working on that, I have finding them in my emails. I have 2 restroom areas, but they were very expensive. They were like, but they were the non-water ones because I didn't think we had water. So
That's a
now I'm
game
like,
changer.
fun. So now I need to figure out a contained septic system up top. So if you want to put restrooms and put my name next to it, I will chase that. I know we have the ones for Portland that Portland put in, but again, I didn't know we had water access. So that's a game changer for us.
Mhm.
So I will look into that and see,
How many would you be trying to put in? Just a couple or?
just like almost like the ones that you would see like at a state park where they're cement and then you have.
So
men's
just
and women's.
one restroom, but
One at
two?
the top,
Okay,
maybe, like a facility, maybe
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
an outdoor shower or something in case
Yep.
you need to shower off
Yep.
or your dog needs to be washed off.
yep, and it probably needs to be within a certain vicinity of the well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I was thinking just up top because we didn't have to worry about the septic so much.
yep,
So we could do that and then, again, it'd be easier for it to be pumped. We
Mhm.
wouldn't have to worry about being near the water, so we'd have less regulation.
yep,
So we would just need a quick leach field and septic tank installed, which wouldn't be horrific. And maybe there's a grant for that. So I'll look up grants for toilets. Restrooms and grants.
I bet you there's a company that maybe would give us a discount as well.
Right,
knowing
I
it's
know
going
that the
first.
LWCF covers restrooms as well. in the
Okay.
grant. So this is something, that's an easy enough one to lump
Add in, yeah,
quick and easy because it's just a leach field and a septic and the building. And I know the quote I did get for non-water was 100,000. But it was a very nice building. But that's still not bad. So that could go towards, but they're a 50-50 grant match, so we would still have to come up with
half.
50,000. So I'd rather do something that, again, the dry one was nice because I don't know if it can be functional during the winter. That would be lovely, but a porta potty during the winter is not a big, a deal breaker either. But I did look at that, but the first quote I got was 100,000 for the waterless restrooms.
How many?
It was like,
Was that one?
it was one building, but it had separate men's and women's. Yeah, I'll forward that on to you guys. I got that, and then there was another one that sent me a quote that was pretty high. But these were waterless restrooms that I was looking at, because I didn't know we had access. Okay. So I will divert and swing my way to regular restrooms. I do think that, you know, a concrete bathroom is better than anything, because you can pressure wash it and clean it, and it's less destruction that can
We
happen.
really need to not make things too
No, I'm
fancy.
looking at, when I do this, I'm also looking at what services in the area and clean them. Like, I'm
Yeah,
doing head to toe on this.
We
I'm
just-
not leaving it that.
even not just with the bathrooms, with all of it. Like,
Yes.
we,
April
as
was
of right
aware
now,
of that
there's
as
nobody
well.
that works for the town that would maintain. Like,
Correct.
we really have to think, is it going long-term here? Eventually, there gonna be somebody that works for the town that does that type of thing, sure, you know, but.
Yeah, no, when we
it
talked
has
to
to
Acorn,
be.
like even some of the stuff, she said there's some grass things that literally just need to be mowed once a year, that's it. So that would be part of the mowing contract. I made it very clear, we have no maintenance facilities for anything. She took that into account in her plans to make sure that it's nothing that needs ongoing maintenance or everyday care or weekly care.
Mhm.
That it's just plan it and done, or maybe more once a year, which we already have one week done anyways. So that's something that I did mention and talk to them about. You know, I said, or if you do give us something that needs to be maintained, I need a company that maintains it, so I can go to them for a price.
Mhm.
And I think that's the way we have to look at anything
Mhm.
until there's a public works department
Mhm.
here. Going forward. That's all I had. Does anyone have any other thoughts or things they've been thinking about? I don't know where Rusty is. He had ideas. I'll check in with
Next
her.
time.
I know. I'll just put Rusty question
He's
mark.
officially.
Yeah, he was voted on last night back onto the committee. Maybe because he's not sworn in, he didn't come. I'm not sure, maybe that's why. They did approve his application last night, so he's back on. And he did email me, told me he has a big plan ready to present, so
Well, that would be sweet.
I'll be excited to see that and see what gets in his head. So that's it. Great spreadsheet, Karen. Can that be
Yeah, I like
uploaded
that.
to Drive or just email out and you keep the master?
Yeah, I think I can.
Either one, whatever you want to do. I'll probably just send it
What
to
was
you.
I asking the steps guy?
Ramps,
Ramp?
yeah, ramps. And then I guess ramps, removable and non-removable. We'll, maybe we'll get both.
So with and without wheels.
With and without wheels, yeah. That way, if we do find out we have to remove them, we can, and we have the quote for both, without you have to go back to him. That would be lovely. And then, like I said, hopefully Joe will have answers by then as well.
I remember talking to him about ramps and for the life of me, I can't remember why. I believe he said that they couldn't be used is because of the way that the openings are, like they're almost, some are circular, some
Yeah.
are really, there's a lot of
Up and
stumps and, but I'll ask him anyway.
They probably can be done, but it's gonna cost more because you'd have to come up higher on the ground or something.
I think you'd still have to do a platform and then do the ramp.
Mhm.
So, I guess,
And almost
I
like the
wonder,
whole area.
If AARP grants like stipulate also people that you use, maybe if there's.
No, you just submit like what you have. Like, we have to do RFP if it's over a certain amount, but you would just submit what
Aren't there criteria for what is considered like eligible for this AARP thing? Like it has to be like the angle of the ramp or whatever, like how, you know, if
Does it
somebody's
have to be
using it for
ADA
a
compliant?
wheelchair
you
or,
have. No,
yeah.
they must stipulate something.
it's
I'm
not,
sure Joe is all over it, but
yeah. In my understanding, it wasn't like full on handicap, it was just like for
there's gotta
someone,
be criteria.
I'm sure. But I think that even the dog people are going by that criteria because they can't put in a ramp that's like this.
Yeah,
and have someone go down it and take a digger, so I think they also, like he said to her, Karen, can't do it because of a certain shape, because it would be so steep, or you have to go up so high. So I'm sure he himself is holding himself to a certain standard, I think even just industry standard would keep them from doing a ramp at a certain pitch, what do you say, Kevin?
Yeah, I think so. But if you get costs on both stairs and ramps, then we can see which
Yeah, I don't,
which
yeah,
is best.
yeah, listen, hopefully the ARP covers the ramps, it's super cool. I mean, maybe to make the ramp bigger, maybe to do the ramp, like wider, so it comes out. There has to be a way. Yeah. Well, like I said, we're only looking at doing a few of them, so maybe some of them, we do have a chance.
They will work in some spots, but not others.
And I'm sure he knows that.
Yeah, and I don't, you know, kind of like, when we were doing Timberland Pond, I don't think you need everything to be wheelchair accessible, or, you know, I think,
Just a couple.
I don't even think you have to, like, look at the beaches around here, they have those pads that go out onto the sand, not into the water,
No.
you know, so I think it just have, you have to have access to get there, but not full
Yeah,
access.
and maybe when you're walking around the forest, or that's something you kind of keep in mind when you're walking certain areas. You know, where you know, oh, we're gonna have handicap parking potentially here. How would someone in a wheelchair or walker in here? And maybe that'll just help with the thought processes as well. When you're down there, you know, just if it'd be lovely if we had two easy areas for people with any kind of, you know, difficulty that they can get in the water. That'd be cool. And even at Kennebunk, they said they come down, but they still have to get to the water. It's not like we have stone roller.
Yeah, and the way that the ramp works, at the bottom of the ramp, there's kind of a pad
Yep.
that if they want, you know, and you will see people just sitting there in their chairs or whatever at the end of the pad, they're not on the sand.
Yeah.
They're not on the water.
Awesome. All right, anything else for other? Lots, anything we want to think about, or just table it until we get Ingrid's report, and then we all can have we'll see if we can meet up. If we can't, we'll try to plan a Zoom for
You wanna
everybody.
check dates?
Yep, we can check dates. Let me get my calendar.
I think Cricket's home.
Really? Oh, that's awesome.
Was that Katrina's dog?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, is he home?
It just. Oh my God, that's awesome.
That's so good.
Oh, good.
Oh, guys, this is the guy that won that, he was so excited he won the cooler.
Oh, nice.
He tagged me on Facebook. He was like super jazzed. Oh my God, he did a bunch of them. Too
Oh,
funny.
nice.
You should see if you can put it on the landing page.
It is online.
Oh,
It's
it
the one
is.
where I did the, where I said who won. So, because he hadn't picked it up
Okay.
yet. The library was kind enough to let me leave it there.
this,
All right.
some of these reports, I'm telling you, from the meetings, it's like deja vu from the 90s.
What, really?
Yeah, it's just like talking about Bunganut. Bunganut's continuing to grow in popularity.
Was the Y there then?
No.
When did they start? Well, for
in
anyone
the
interested, their
90s.
workshop is the 30th.
This past summer, surveys were given to those who frequent the park, and the results were very encouraging. Many wanted to see more activities offered at the park, but do not want the park overly developed. The survey also showed that many of those visiting the park are from surrounding towns and communities. It's just like
It's repeat.
deja vu.
No kidding. It's crazy. So, okay, right now, today's the 17th.
That's crazy.
I know, like what? So I have like, of course, then you have to think of when the meetings are for Select boards this coming Monday, the following Monday, they're having a workshop.
Tuesdays work well for me.
Yeah,
Not sure.
October 1st, I'm free. Anyone else? The 26th, I'm free, and the 1st, I'm free so far.
26th Thursday.
And then I'm free October 1st,
Um,
and then Wednesday night, the 2nd, I'm around.
second would work for me.
The first, I think so Wagner's planning a candidate night.
The second I have a planning board meeting.
Candidate night for what?
Candidates running for state.
Oh,
stuff.
okay. Like for himself.
First things first. Let's just get that straight.
Like he was. I see.
26th, is that too soon? It's probably too soon. The 8th?
If it's coming this week,
26th is next Thursday, so it might be too soon for like the Forester and,
oh yeah.
Well, we're just.
No, we're
I
just
mean,
doing the Acorn
does-
review.
does anyone, we can meet at the library on the 1st unless you guys are wanting to attend the candidate night. I was not planning on attending to see who's running for
I
representative.
have the books, library books, and waiting for work.
Oh, yeah.
I have to be at the
Should
library,
be at the
I
library?
guess.
So that would
I
work.
just can't.
So, I mean, if you guys want to go to candidate night, I don't want to stop you, but I know I
I
wasn't,
want to watch
You
it.
can watch it
I
after,
can
right?
watch it.
Yeah.
You have to attend on
And you
knowing.
can submit your questions at
That's
the time.
I don't have
Oh, so probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Bart can't go.
Any of those
Anybody
dates you're just set on. fine.
So does the first work then, and Holly will be at the library when we do it?
Either, I just won't hear you.
Well, you'll be out front, right? Where will you be?
In the book sale, but
Well, can't you meet over there?
I just listen. I guess I could try to listen.
Is it busy in there?
No, it's not busy, it's just I do it for Coles, so we volunteer for
Okay,
those
so
2
why don't we
hours.
just sit in there?
So I have
and-
to, I have to do books.
Well, if you want to just
But I could listen.
do books and we'll be in the room with you, does that work?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're just like playing with books, we'll be all right there, right? I'll check with the library for the 1st. You know, what time's- One.
I don't want to wheeling books in. Sure.
Does the library have to be open to have meetings there?
No, not necessarily, no.
No.
Though we can do it in the community room.
Yeah,
They
we
usually
just-
will give you a key.
No, I'm asking for Greg.
Oh,
I'm asking for like
Yeah, no,
Little
no.
League to have meetings there. Okay.
just have them call Leela or
Okay.
talk about it.
First,
6 o'clock, everyone work for everyone?
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right, and hopefully we'll have some good info. Hopefully you'll have your walk around by then.
With the Forester.
Yeah, with Dave and the Forester, Bunganut, somewhere between now and then.
so I thought Acorn came first.
Well, we'll get the report from Acorn, but like, I know Dave was gonna walk around with the Forester whenever you guys are ready.
But we want the Acorn report.
Yep.
No, we want to get the Acorn report, we want to review it, and then we want to do the walk.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that we have, if Acorn has areas in mind that they suggest, then we can say to the forester,
But even if we have the report, we might have already seen it and then we could still go for the walk. Yeah. It's going to end up happening all in one swoop.
If you have to change the meeting time, then you change it if it doesn't work.
Mhm.
We can do that. And, I mean, they shouldn't have a problem with us just kind of scooting into the book room. and-
No, there's always
There's
room
tables
somewhere,
there.
even if you're not in the book room, like if there's someone in there, but there's usually no one in there with me.
Well, especially it's a Tuesday, it's not.
There's usually a
Weekend,
date,
it's
it's
not-
just.
All right, anything else from anybody? Are we good? Thanks, guys, so much. That was a good one. Lots to
it's a
do.
lot.
Lots to do. I think we're getting progress. So I wish the report was in too, but Aiden was pretty stuffy after the first week of school, so no surprise there. Like the germs, first week back.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Stuffy, you know,
Yeah.
Brady is.
Oh.
Okay, should have run down then. Everyone good to adjourn?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks.
Hi. Oh, when I was dying.
Yeah. And then
Um,
it just, did it just go away?